Hello and welcome. This is In the Studio. My name's Donny Carr and it's episode number 60. Today I want to expound on the idea of less is more a little bit. So this will be more of a discussion type of video. Um, Before we get into it though, I just want to give you a quick little preview of this track here that I'm working on. It's a original tune. It's not quite done yet. I'm still mixing it down, and I'll explain why I'm showing you this track here in a minute. But I'm going to give you a quick little preview here. Hopefully my computer doesn't glitch out too much because I have a lot going on in the mixer. Okay, so that's a little snippet of the track. And the reason that I'm showing you this project is I came across a few issues, uh, less is more issues, if you will. The track wasn't working the way I wanted it to, and so the main reason for that is I had too many things in there, too much going on, too many things playing on top of each other. So, for instance, here. I had this ARP here, which was originally one of the main elements of the track. I spent a lot of time on it. I like the way it sounded, but it just didn't work with the track. So I ended up taking it out. It's actually muted in the mixer here permanently. I'm not going to use it in the track. And I think sometimes as producers, you get kind of attached to the sounds that you make and that are in your project because, you probably spent a lot of time on it like I did on this art. But don't be afraid to, you know, mute things and really ask yourself, is it benefiting the track or is it not? And if it's not, pull it out. And it's not a waste of time, if you bounce it out into your own, sample folder that you can then recall at a later for maybe a later track. Um, but yeah, I thought that was, something that at least I used to struggle with was, getting it too attached to sounds and like just trying to force it into the project. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So just take it out if it's not working. And I had a few other instances here, like I have this little top bass thing going on that's playing on top of the sub bass that was originally way busier. So I stripped those elements back, gave them more room to breathe. Um, I kind of made sure that things that were playing in the similar frequency range weren't playing on top of each other. Like I have this chord box stab thing here that is kind of in the lower frequency range that was playing on top of the like one of the top basses, and so I made sure those weren't playing at the same time. I also had some percussion elements that were playing, like this loop and this loop here were playing on top of each other. I made sure those weren't playing at the same time, and that really made an impact. Again, these elements were kind of in a similar frequency range. So made sure those weren't playing together, and it's working so much better. Um, and also, expounding on the idea of less is more, I had a lot of elements and a lot more drum elements in the breakdown and the breakdowns, and and so my drop wasn't kind of hitting the way I wanted it to, and instead of adding more elements at the drop, I just took away elements before the drop, and that's way more beneficial, I feel like, most of the time than adding elements. Music production is all about contrast. If you want to make something sound big, then take away elements and energy right before, the big moment or the big drop, whatever it is you're doing. And that's just way more way more beneficial than adding shit for the most part. So, yeah, just a few things to think about when you're producing. Again, it's also way easier to mix when you have fewer elements, clashing. Give things space. That was one thing that I used to struggle with, was making my like loops and parts a little bit too busy. So, that goes for like your original conception, like when you're building your loop, and also a huge part of that is here in the arrangement phase. Don't be afraid to mute things, move things around, space things out a little bit, and really, get the most out of the parts that you work so hard to create. And if it doesn't work, like I said, bounce it out, save it, put it in your sample folder, and reuse it in another track. So that's the video for today. I hope that it was useful in some way for you. Um, but I'll see you soon with some more techniques and tidbits and fun production advice. So take care. Bye bye.